Okay, the next presentation, this will be the first presentation I give, and it's about a project that I've been doing, or we've been doing, with the Rotary Club of Newport Beach in conjunction with Rotary clubs around the world. We have 200 Rotary clubs around the world, 1.4 million members, doing a lot of projects, 35,000 clubs. I'd say 200 countries, that's more than the United Nations. So what we're trying to do is get organizations to work together. I went on a mission several years ago to do a dental program in Bocas del Toro, Panama. Right after I landed, they said, congratulations, you're the last person here. We've just closed the airport in LAX and Panama, and they closed it for 4 months, so I got stranded there. So I'm a PADI master diver, and I started scuba diving there and noticed that there was no reef. There was no coral reefs, no fish, nothing. So I want to show a picture of this boat. This was from us in the same location 2 years before. And it's one of my favorite quotes. I joined Rotary to change the world, and it changed me. I joined Rotary to make the world a better place, and Rotary made me a better person.
They provide shelter to marine life and protect our shores. Coral reefs, they support 25% of all marine species. Coral reefs are also vital to sustainable fishing in coastal communities worldwide. Over 500 million people depend on reefs for food, income, and protection. With over 800 different species of coral, reefs provide over $400 billion in economic value by protecting our coasts and coastal communities. They are nature's buffer for waves, storms, floods, and erosion. And so, internationally, fish stocks have been significantly reduced and exploited, while coral reef coverage has declined by roughly 50%. With predictions of up to 90% loss by 2050. In the Caribbean, these numbers are more drastic. However, coral seed banks help rebuild what's been lost. Much like the fertilization of flowers, coral seed and eggs are released where they mix and fertilize and grow into larvae. Then, after a few days or weeks, return to the reef to settle and grow. Working with regional government leaders, mayors, village representatives, and community members has created paid training apprentice programs specific to ocean sustainability. Apprentices are working to become local entrepreneurs and employers to artificial suppliers for future Rotary Reef installation projects. RotaryReefs.org not only works to create new reefs, but to also protect the reefs we do have by helping to reduce the amount of chemicals, plastics, overfishing, and invasive species. RotaryReefs.org is breathing new life into areas believed to be irreparably damaged. Yet while these locals work to save their reefs and coastal front lines, saving the ocean starts with you. Join the Rotary Reef Project. Please help protect coral reefs for generations to come. Get involved. Visit RotaryReef.org.
So we're very proud of this program. We entered it in a global competition, and it was awarded the second best environmental competition by Rotary in the world, which is pretty darn good. I'm going to play this video while I talk a little bit. You'll hear the calming voices. So we don't just, I want to show you the white area there. We find an area that has nothing at all. And we take the indigenous community there and the children and show them that there's no fish. Then we put these reefs in, and you'd be surprised. I placed this reef 2 years ago. Look at them now. Can you imagine what they'll be like in 4 years? And everybody asks, why do you use the rotary wheel? Well, it's a money thing. Rotarians love to donate money, and they love to donate money for things, but they also love to see their wheel. So what we do is we sell one of these wheels for $5,000. Of that, about $4,000 goes into community development stuff. We do toothbrushes, education, plastics, recycling, all kinds of things. We have a lot of strategic partners, and there's a lot of strategic partners here in this room. One that we're working with really closely, that we're going to have an event in May where we take volunteers down. We're working on a recycling program in plastics. And we're working with an organization called One Earth, One Ocean out of Germany. And we've got two of the representatives here today, Dr. Harold Frank and Yana Coble from Panama. Give them a round of applause. So you ask, how does Coral Reef, how does this all work together? So about 15 years ago, I was asked to help fund an AIDS clinic in Kandla, South Africa. And I noticed there was a lot of issues there, about the highest concentration of AIDS in the world, 20,000 people dying a year of AIDS. And I looked up, researched the area, and vetted the corporation before I give them a check. And I found out that the people in this area believed in what was called the virgin cure. Has anyone heard of the virgin cure? It is, they feel if they have AIDS and they have sex with a virgin, it cures it. And this has been going back 2,000 years, but it's believed. And at the time, my nieces were 13 and 15. And so after I stopped crying, I said, I'm not going to send a check, I'm going to send a solution. So I was volunteering at a local high school teaching kids green building skills. And I talked to the professor and I said, you know, you guys normally build a little 4-foot by 4-foot section of a house and then you tear it down at the end of the year. I said, what if I buy a shipping container and pay for all the materials and help these kids design it? And so we did. It was the first dock in a box. And so this is the inside of it. So this was, everybody's hearing about the shipping container things and the homes and the tiny things. I designed this in 2012. So we were the first dock in the box group. And funny story, the South African government put a freeze on our container, and they had it in storage for like 3 weeks. And they said to get out, you need, I think, $10,000. And so I didn't have $10,000, so I bet all my friends $1,000 I couldn't swim from Alcatraz to San Francisco. Hour and 23 minutes later, I had $12,000. So I got a lot of newspapers, a lot of press, LA Times, et cetera, great news. Bad news, everybody started calling me. So USC Dental School called and said, can you design one of these for our dental clinic? So I did. And then from that clinic, we were doing $1 million worth of free dental in Southern California. As a reward, we take the students that have donated the most hours through the year to a third world country at the end of the year as a bonus. They pay their own way, but it's an honor to go because the people that have worked the most are the ones that score the highest at USC because they get the most practice. So a student at USC might get 4 extractions a year. He'll get 40 in a weekend with me. So they get a lot more experience. So then an optometry school heard about the dental school, and they called me and they go, can you make a mobile optometry center? So I did. Then it just kept more and more. And so we just started saying, we're not going to call it dock in a box, we're going to call it help in a box. And help in a box, it's not actually a box anymore. It's, you come to us with a problem, we work out a solution, then we share the solution with you, or schools or Rotary clubs to steal the idea. So this is actually my high school class that built this dental trailer. And they're getting awarded by the governor, or the congressman of Southern California. But this dental trailer that I designed, we can set up a 15-chair dental clinic in 45 minutes. 45 minutes, 15 chairs. They can run through 100 patients in a day, doing approximately $200,000 worth of free dental. And so we come in there, 7 o'clock, the ramp flies down, everybody knows what to do, everybody comes back. One of the problems we've seen, and actually the worst problems we've had with dental, is in Panama. So I've done dental clinics in Cambodia, Thailand, India, 20 orphanages in Mexico we've adopted. The worst teeth are in Panama. and I couldn't figure it out. And everybody's come up to me going, this kid's got 3 abscesses, this kid's got 2. We need to find the parents. We got to get this kid to a hospital. Crazy. And I'm going, what the hell's going on in Panama? Then the lunch, everybody comes out and everyone has $1. That $1 every day is soda and a piece of candy. And so that's the difference. The orphanages, nobody else we deal with have money. And so I decided to design this sugar board, which teaches children and parents how much sugar is in their drink. And so we distribute these all over the world. We've got them Khmer, we've got them in pretty much every language. I'm pretty proud of this. This little yellow thing is a medical device I designed, and I donate to anybody who is doing humanitarian work where there's no electricity. So it allows volunteers to dry the teeth very, very good. So we can apply a fluoride varnish to it. And so we're trying to do that every 6 months. So if the kids don't brush their teeth, we can't get them to stop buying soda. They don't brush their teeth. At least we can do the best we can to save their teeth. And so far it's been such a success. We've been studying for 4 years now, and every year we've had a decline in cavities. This is just pictures. This is of us last August in Bocas del Toro. We have a thing called volunteer tourism. It started in Mexico. I was having a hard time getting stuff over the border. So I met with the governor of Baja. We got special passes to bring it down. Now we get local businesses to give us 40% discount on hotel rooms and stuff, and we visit a community and we do things like this. This is me with the governor of Bocas del Toro. Which brings us to lionfish. We were talking about this morning. One of the things I noticed when we first got there, the reefs were dying, there was no fish, and it was an overpopulation of lionfish. So what we did was I got with the local newspaper, the local restaurants, and the local fishermen. And it drove me crazy because the fishermen would come up with cayucas, which is dugout canoes, filled with little baby lobster, which were illegal. And everybody's buying them because they already caught them, so they're going to die anyway. We might as well buy them. I go, if you don't buy them, they won't catch them. And so how do you stop this? So I started looking up lionfish recipes. And so I bought a whole bunch of beer and bought a whole bunch of food and asked all the fishermen to come to this restaurant called the Cosmic Crab on an island called Isla Carnero in Bocas del Toro. And I got with the restaurant owners, I said, I'll give you free advertising if you do a lionfish special 1 day a week. So I got 7 restaurants to do that. I got the fishermen, I said, I'll guarantee you $4.99 a pound if you bring lionfish to deliver the things. Well, it's been so successful, they called me last year and they said, we need a motor. And I says, why? And I says, because we can't find any more lionfish, we have to go farther out. I say, no, we don't need a motor, we need to train the next village to do the same thing. Another thing, so I was stranded, but you have to leave every 90 days to get a visa passport. So to get to that, you got to go on a boat, a van, cross a bridge. Going to Costa Rica, I saw this beautiful, beautiful bird called the great green macaw. And I went to a rescue. I said, I love that bird, it's great. I come back to Bocas del Toro, I go, where are the green macaws? And they go, there are none. They cut down all the trees here 40 years ago. The tree that it takes for the bird to survive and breed and reproduce is called the mountain almendro. It's called the tree of life. It supports about 1,000 species, but the wood is beautiful and is termite resistant. So they came in and cut down every tree about 40 years ago. So the birds, the macaws, need the fruit to chew up to give their babies for them to survive. So no trees, no babies, no species. So I was asking somebody, I went to this botanical gardens which had 1 tree, and they had some sprouts, they had some seedlings. And I went to somebody else, I went to some of the local people doing birds, and I said, how can we bring them back? They said, it's impossible. I said, why? He says, we don't have trees. And I said, how long does it take to fruit? They said 8 years. I said, so you're telling me if I plant 1,000 of these tomorrow, in 8 years they'll fruit, so I could reintroduce the species by 2030? And he says, yeah, but you couldn't possibly plant 1,000. So I planted 5,000. Got that done, and between now and then, every time a group goes down, they plant 1,000 to offset their carbon footprint. We figure each group takes about 400 trees to offset their carbon, so we plant twice that, which is 1,000. So in 2030, Rotary and my Rotary Club and all the volunteers will be responsible for reintroducing a species into Bocas del Toro, Panama. This is just some pictures of us doing it. This is my Rotary Club volunteers. This is a seed bank. What we're doing now is we're actually, because the water is sometimes 88 to 100 degrees, coral starts to bleach around 86, 87. We're having massive die-outs. We've lost about 92 to 95% of all stony coral in the Caribbean. And as our good friend Captain Paul Watson says, when the ocean dies, we die. I can see a forest fire 100 miles away. I can't see coral dying 5 inches below my boat. So we really have to wake up. That's why I'm so into trying to save coral, because no one else, or well, not a lot of other people are. So as you see, these are the seed banks we have. They've been working great. I'm going to roll this through because I'm about a minute late. And our next project, I'll just go real quick, is a global grant. We'll be working with Marco from Rivers Recycle. He'll be up here in a minute. We're doing a Guatemala. My club is putting up $300,000 through a global grant to fund this. And we'll try to do one river a year. And you're going to come up for the next panel, so come on up. And again, this is Yana Kobel. She's our Rotaract plastic guru, and she's also with One Earth, One Oceans, and she's here, and she can talk to you about that. She also has a plastic planner, plastic free through a year. What we do is we give these to Rotary clubs, and once a week at their meeting, they'll go through the plastic planner and pick one thing, and they'll ask every member to do one thing to reduce plastic that week. And it's been hugely successful. I'm going to let Marco hand me this. This is made from river trash and river plastic that's been made into boards. And we use this as part of the competition on Monday. The girls used it. And you're going to be doing a presentation later on it. Yes. So if you want a free planner, you go to Seasoned Straws, sign up for their newsletter, and they'll email you one of those.